Do you feel like you've lost your motivation and you're drifting endlessly in life? Then this message is for you to help you get re-inspired, reconnected with your dreams, and back in flow to think better and live better. Here is Hilda and Team Sabiti vividly breaking down ways how to unapologetically be successful in life. The Coach. Give yourself permission to live a life you deserve.
As you grow, by the way, as you grow older, your happiness should be more and more and more, because you have learned from so different things. Different things have come into your life, but they've not killed you. They've only left you stronger. So you should grow into happiness. And we're still talking about how to let your guard down. Number one, we talked about moving out of your comfort zone. It's not good to rush into a new relationship, but again, do not stay locked out. Venture out. Go for coffee. Talk to someone, chat with someone, open up your life, be entertaining. Don't be the kind, and some people, the problem is you matured way early into your lives. For example, the people that have grown into, from humble backgrounds, or maybe you had lost one of your parents or something. So you start mothering your siblings at around 10, 12. So you become a mother figure. So whenever you go to your workplace, you're a mother figure. You go to a relationship, you're a mother figure. Into friendships, you're a mother figure or father figure. You matured so early. So you even don't know what having fun means. You don't know how to open up. You don't know how to be a girl or how to be a boy. You know, you are 30, but you're behaving like a 62-year-old. Like you're in the evening time of your life. Like you're about to die. No. Step out of the comfort zone and live a life.
I know that it's not an easy thing to forget someone who gave you so much to remember.
Of course.
You know, like when we talk about these things, when we are giving you some of these tips, we don't come from the angle of
it's all perfect.
Exactly. We know exactly what it means to have loved that person so much, but probably he did not love you back the same. Or even the misinterpretation that you thought he loved you so much, but actually never loved you.
Yeah.
All this we understand, and we understand the position you're in right now, that you have to face this and deal with it.
And
it's painful. We do understand it. But then the question is, after all the pain, after everything is done, what's the best thing to do?
Yes.
Do we sit down and let life to just move on?
Do we cry for the rest of our lives?
Exactly. The best thing to do is to devise means of how to get ourselves up on our feet.
To pick up ourselves, yes.
Okay? And continue, because life has not stopped moving. The clock is ticking. And it's not going to wait. Okay? So the best thing is,
and
happened.
The person that hurt you is busy eating chicken somewhere with someone else. So
And true, yeah. Because their life did not, do you remember?
It did not stop.
Remember, most especially with the person that walks away, their life seems to continue.
To go on,
okay?
yeah.
It's only the person who's left behind that usually has most of these issues surrounding them, or most of the issues to deal with. So we usually advise that it's not okay, for you to think that I'll lock up my doors and die alone.
Yeah.
It's not okay for you to say, I think I was meant to love once. This has failed.
So
I'm not going to love
more.
again. It has happened. Okay? Life must continue.
Okay. And next, be true to yourself. Be who you really, really, really are. Some of us, when we go through a phase of a heartbreak, and then we get to a point where we want to open up our lives, you realize we tend to live a lie because we want to be accepted.
Okay.
Because someone sells you the notion of it's only slim people that can be loved. So you change yourself to fit into someone else's life and leave the major part of your life behind.
Yes, and it's a lie to think that you are going to fit another person's description or understanding of who you should be.
No, you can't.
It's wrong.
You can't.
It is a lie.
And it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. That's the word I was going to say. At all. Okay? You may live a lie today, live a lie tomorrow, but you'll break down. Eventually, you'll go back to yourself. Have you ever met these girls who try to suck in the air? Why? Because a guy is passing. She does not want this.
I know.
You know, you can do that, but for how long will you stay without breathing? I wish you guys would see me. I'm trying to suck it in. That there was a time I was trying to take a picture and I did not want to show my big
Your big tummy.
So I had to suck it in, and the cameraman was taking long. And I was like, I'm dying, guy. If you have to take the picture, take it.
Interesting. That's exactly what people go through. So
I cannot walk with my, I can't.
Shoulders high, you sucked in the air, and you
can't.
dying.
It's a lie. So that's trying to fit in another person's description of you.
That's a show. It's acting. It's not real life.
Yeah.
And if someone is supposed to love you, they should love you for who you are.
I agree, yeah.
They should love you for your color. They should love you for how you speak, for how you giggle, for how you chuckle, for how you... I'm not saying bring all your bad habits onto that display. No. But I'm saying be yourself. Don't change accent because you want someone to love you. Because you're only thinking, maybe the other one left me because my accent was not good. Maybe it was because I had a Ruchiga accent, so now I should have an American accent.
It's not sustainable. It's an impression.
You're creating a second heartbreak.
Yes, by the way, and that's what I said when I mentioned while you're locking up these rooms, be careful the time you'll be opening them up.
Yes.
You could fall into the same trap. Now, those are some of the assessments that you do on yourself. On the first heartbreak, okay? You try to search yourself deep and get a pen and paper and write some of those things that you think were self-sabotaging. Some of those things that you did not do right.
Self-sabotaging is a word.
Okay? Now, after dealing with some of these things, then, okay, you know what to expect in your next relationship. You know the reason as to why, as counselors, we advise that you do not hurry to fall into another or get into another relationship. The reason as to why we usually put that time, that time frame, is we are helping you to dig out some of those tiny details that you think could have led to your heartbreak on your side, because you have less of control on your partner's side, but you have a lot to watch out on your side. Because let me tell you, anything builds up to something. Whatsoever that it was, it could have been small, but it was building up to something big. So what you dealt with at the point of heartbreak was probably a compilation of so many things. That's why when we go into these counseling sessions, someone gives you their history.
Yeah.
And from the history, you sometimes realize there is a pattern.
Yes.
And that pattern
Shows
was
up
leading
in the present.
Exactly. Was leading to somewhere and actually ended up into heartbreak. Now, what happens is people live the same life again. Why? Because they never get time to sit down and mark out all those entry points and mark out all those loopholes and close them once and for all.
Okay, we live in the real world, so be a real human being. Be a real person. Don't be the kind who thinks I will wake up with makeup or I will sleep with makeup. Be yourself. I mean, don't just be yourself. You will be accepted for who you are, and that will be the best kind of relationship that you ever have. But if you think you have to change what you put on, you have to change yourself, you have to change. If you're doing it, you do it for yourself as a self-improvement tool. But you don't do it because you want to entice someone or because you will break down and it will be no more. Okay, number 3 that we hardly want in our lives is the vulnerability part of it.
Yep.
Just thinking that I am placing my life into someone's hands. To love, to care, to accept me, you have to break down the walls of I'm Miss Independent, I can handle it all, I'm self-contained, I know it all.
Yep.
You have to come out of that place. You can't be a man or a woman that does that to yourself.
True.
You have to be able, because to love is to risk.
Yeah.
To love is to give without knowing whether you're going to get back or not. To love is to give without knowing whether you're going to get the same measure or less.
Yep.
So that is vulnerable in itself, because
It's vulnerable,
you do
yeah.
not have control over the other person. You only have control over yourself. So this thing of saying, no, my heart has been broken 100 times and no one can break my heart anymore. That is when you go with your barbed wires into a relationship.
Again, it takes us back to the first point
Yes.
we discussed,
Yes.
okay? Not being able to deal
With the truth.
with the truth about your life in relation, okay, to probably your first heartbreak, okay. We're talking to a person who's probably has had a bad experience,
Yes.
because most times, the vulnerability bit of it, I've talked to ladies who do not want to risk, okay,
Showing.
giving their whole or entrusting their whole
To a man.
to a man. Why? Because of what they have gone through. So somehow in their head, okay, they program themselves to think of the following things. I've been able to pay my rent for the last 3, 4, 5 years without a man.
Yeah.
I've been the supplier of utilities, okay? When I need umeme at home, I pay my own
Myself.
umeme. I pay my own water
I
bills.
dress myself.
Exactly.
Manage my own salon.
So giving away that to another person becomes very hard. Okay? Why? Because at that point they're wondering, this has been my life for the longest time.
Yeah.
I fuel my car. Okay? When I'm in a loss, I face the loss
Yeah.
alone. In other words, I've not had anyone who offers me a hand, who gives me that helping hand. Okay? I have handled it all by myself for the last 5 years now.
So I don't
where the
want-
problem comes is there's this man who's come into your life, and somehow you have to sit down and talk about the home.
issues. Yeah.
You realize just where the problem is. So the vulnerability bit of it becomes an issue to this girl.
Yes.
Why? Because even when she wants to do it, she finds herself doing the opposite.
Yes.
Why? Because that's not been her life for the longest time.
Okay, so I know you're already seeing where you belong and how you don't, because you feel like, can I trust this person? And then what if they don't deliver? What if they? No, I'm better off doing it on my own. Bring back my.
You know, when you go
problems, let me
even
carry
out
them
for
on.
dinner, she pays the bills.
I know.
You get me? So she will be skeptical even to go on a dinner date.
If she doesn't
If
have
she doesn't
money,
have the money in
she will
her
not
purse-
want to ask you. Yeah.
Or she will be like, but so if I get there and the guy,
And he doesn't have money. What are
for
we
the
going
last
to do?
4-5 years, that's been your life. But there is another person now
That has
into
come
your
into
life.
your
So
life.
you need to somehow adjust. You need somehow adjust and give, because now
Them room to be who they have
and
to
most
be.
especially it's bad if a man cannot have that kind of position in a woman's life. Mostly women who've been independent for a long time, men really struggle. That's why sometimes men just run away. Why? Because the impression that a woman is giving you is, I can handle it on my own.
So I don't
need you. Okay? But she's not directly saying that. But what she's saying subconsciously is, this has been my life for the longest time, and I don't even know how to depend on a man. Even when I want to do it, I don't know whether I can.
Yeah.
Okay? So the man has to do a lot to get this woman to that
earn.
place where she can actually trust him.
Okay, and part of being vulnerable is actually needing someone, because you cannot love someone if you don't need them.
Yes.
If you don't want them. So that means that needing someone, some of us will even get to a point where you don't want to show someone that you need them. You panic. Even when you're texting a good morning, you're only thinking, should I say honey? Should I say who? Should I say who? Why? Because I'm not used to this kind of life, and I don't know if I call them this name, will they think that I love them so much that I'm head over heels? Will they think if I say this, will they think I'm holding so tight? Will they think that I'm so needy and so clingy? So we tend not to want to be to be seen as less
And misunderstood.
misunderstood.
Yes, yes. Just like we said, you've been that kind of person, okay, that has managed everything about your life, okay, and right now you somehow have to depend on another, or you have to sit down with another to discuss your life, okay, make decisions about the next car to buy.
Yes. Yes.
Think about investments, okay,
Even the tiny things.
yes, even the tiny things, by the way, you know, like, it's not been you.
Yeah.
You've lived your own life, and it's hard for you to adjust and try to now accept another person into your life, most especially a person you have to sit down with and even discuss your finances with. And by the way, it even becomes worse if in your past relationships you were abused. If
Yes.
the kind of guy that you had in your life, I've met some girls. There was a particular girl that told me, we even started a supermarket together with my boyfriend. When it came to time of kicking me out, okay, kicked me out without even reimbursing, or without a penny. Okay, so all the money that I contributed, all my time, because I
Was
sat
a
at the
loss.
supermarket every day, okay, I contributed my own money, contributed almost 70% plus my time. Stocking the supermarket and etc and etc. When another girl came into the picture, I was thrown out without anything. And guess what? You know, when people are in love, there's nothing to show for it. And what happens is most people, most especially the relatives to the guy, they just know that as their son's business.
Yes.
So they just throw you out. The poor girl left with nothing. But what am I trying to say here? Such an experience, okay, will obviously block the door of trust. You don't even want to think about it.
You'll be like, let him
So
deal with
the
his own things. I deal with mine.
vulnerability bit of it becomes hard in particular areas. Why? Because you think you will be taken advantage of in the next one. But as we said, before you get into another relationship, do a self-evaluation and deal with some of what could have led to all
To
that.
that.
You understand? Were you the kind who did not mind to know the following things? That, okay, maybe the business name should be in my names. You know, these are things that
So
you
in both
discuss at that
names.
point. We're starting this business together, okay? If you're doing this business, it's not going to be in only your names, it's going
Yeah.
to be in our names.
Yeah.
We will have an account and it's going to be joint. But sometimes when girls are in love, some of those things they do not think about. Now, come from that position where you've been hurt. You don't want to do the same thing again. So, in other words, when you're doing your evaluation, you take care of those loopholes and properly close them. You're like, oh, it's good that you're going to buy land. In whose names? My names or your names? Guy, honey, you know at that point the guy will be so sweet.
Yeah.
You can decide.
And
There is no
he-
problem you saying let it
Let
be
it
in
be
my
names.
names.
Yeah. So you see what comes after. If
Yes,
he says
yeah.
it's in your name, then speak up.
Yep.
If he says that it's in the guy's name alone, just speak up.
So
and
at
say, "I'm
the
not
end of the
comfortable."
day, you will not be ripped off. Why? Because you took care of yourself. Something that you learned in the first relationship and you're not
Yes.
allowing it to
to happen again.
happen again.
Yes, but at least you are willing to be vulnerable. You are willing to love again. You are willing to risk again. You're willing to put your heart on the line. It's putting your heart on the front line, my dear, because you don't know what next.
Yep.
But if all goes well, then you are going to live a good life. If all does not go well, yes, I mean, you see what comes next.
Still talking about vulnerability, you talk, if you are the kind that cannot be vulnerable, you are only stepping away from courage. And I think it's really courageous, really to get to that place of openness.
To risk, yes.
You know, to risk and trust another.
Not knowing
if you're
what to
talking about
expect.
building a connection, you can't build a connection without getting to that place of vulnerability.
Yes.
We can pause to be the strongest. We can pause and give an impression, but an impression, you understand, that is lasting is hard, completely impossible, okay, to sustain. Be yourself, okay? There is nothing wrong to show them that you need them.
You have
There
the
is
weak
nothing
side and you
wrong-
have the strong side.
Exactly. There is nothing wrong to give another the opportunity, okay, to be part of your life. Talk to them, trust them, okay, and etc and etc. We all at a certain point can never, all of us, escape being vulnerable. At a certain point, we become vulnerable.
True.
Okay, but being able to know how far you can go and what you shouldn't even try, okay, will help you safeguard you. Remember, expectations are really key in any relationship. And giving yourself too much high expectations or hope alone is disaster. Okay? Live within your means. Live a real life. And life will be sweet.
Okay, and the last one but not the least, follow your heart and follow your own timelines. I know we've had so many questions from listeners in the past, I mean, even if it's 5 or a decade, 5 years or a decade, where someone will ask you, so how soon can this be done? How soon when you get into the relationship? How far? How many years should one date before you get married? When should the first kiss come? When should I sleep with this person? When should I? You realize there is so much information out there that sometimes we even don't know what to do with it. So the back and forth is confusing a lot of people. But remember, every relationship is unique and has unique needs.
Your heart, okay, is a candle. Okay, that will always illuminate your path. Your heart will never lie.
Yes.
You need to follow your heart. Okay, even when we speak, anything that we speak is supposed to guide your heart.
Yes.
Okay, to make the right decision. Now, in most cases, there are some people who are just wired to think someone must decide for them, or someone. You know, like when your life is like a gamble.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you do not have anything original. You do not have anything that comes from you that you can die for, protect. You understand? And be willing to give your whole for. I can assure you, your heart has the potential. It can sense 2 minutes from now, 5 minutes from now. It can sense a bad relationship.
Yeah.
It can sense that you're actually getting yourself into danger.
Trouble,
and
yes.
it will signal. You will feel unhappy. You will have all the red flags. You'll have all these indicators in your life.
Depressed,
But
you're
most
stressed.
cases, we just decide to lock our heart up and don't give our heart an opportunity to illuminate our path. And that's why we end up into trouble.
Very true. Remember, it's your life, and you live it according to how you want to live it. Now, I'm not saying that don't listen to anyone. We've usually said that be very selective about the people that you listen to. But at the end of the day, you have the right. You have the last call on your life about the timelines. How fast it should go and how slow it should go is all dependent on you.
Yeah.
So you should not say so-and-so dated for 8 years before they married. And you are right now 40 and you're looking to date for 8 years because someone dated for 8 years. That is insanity. That is being crazy. That is not knowing exactly what you want and when you want it. So instead of following the curriculum, because there's no formula.
Yeah.
There's no curriculum.
There's no
for
particular
love,
way of doing
for love,
it. Yes.
For when you sleep with someone, for when you start going to their place, for when you start cooking for them, for when you start washing for them. I know all those questions keep coming.
When we are guiding you, okay, we will try to give you a certain way of doing things.
Yes, certain perimeters.
A systematic way of doing things. But, as Bahati said, there is nothing that is cast in stone.
It does not apply to every relationship. And every
What
single
worked
person.
for you may not work for another.
Yes.
What did not work or what worked in your first relationship may not even work in this particular relationship. So the best thing to do is to follow your heart. You can read the signs, by the way, and get to know that I'm in the wrong place or I'm in the right place.
Yes.
And you can tell that even if I've heard a lot about this guy from other people, okay, your heart flows with this person, and
Yes.
your heart is so confident. You
That
understand
he's the right
that he's the
guy.
right person. Okay,
Despite what everyone
the
says.
heart will never lie.
And most of the times you tend to prove them wrong at the end of the day.
Of course. Why? Because you are following your heart. Your heart
Someone
will never
says,
lie.
yeah, let's give them 2 months.
No,
let's give them before they know it, you're 10 years into
there
that
are
relationship.
people who've gotten into that kind of relationship where everyone is just seconding it, approving it. Everyone seems to be saying yes,
then it does not
yes,
work out.
yes, and within 2 months,
It's down.
it's completely down.
Yeah.
You get me? So that shows you one thing, that you did not search your heart well about this, but you acted on another person's prompt,
Yes.
another person's approval or
And
consent.
influence.
And it does not work. It does not work that way. Never, ever. Because there is no method and there is no formula that is cast in stone on how things should be done.
To stay connected with a coach, call 0757 117 117 or 0784 331 331. On social media, it's Bahati Hilda or Team Sabiti. You can even email us at bahatihilda@gmail.com.